And gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us for our debate today. Let's give everybody a round of applause. Yay! And we'd like to welcome our first speaker to introduce the topic of the debate today with a speech to not exceed 3 minutes. Your timekeeper will be Dieter. Please watch him. Mr. Timekeeper, are you ready? Yes? Okay. Ms. Speaker, whenever you're ready, you may begin.
Hello, my name is Kerstin Martins, and I am the Prime Minister. I would like to thank my partner Shani, a member of government, and the opposition. And I would also like to thank the judges, timekeeper, and audience for being here and listening to this debate today. This debate is about whether students should or should not have to have a certain GPA to participate in extracurricular activities. And we as the government said that they should have to have a certain GPA to participate in extracurricular activities. Our first main point would be that it requires you to be responsible, and so it takes responsibility to keep your grades up and then also be able to participate in an extracurricular activity. This takes time, so you have to keep your grades up and work very hard. And our second point was that it prepares you for college, because in college scholarships can be taken away because you don't have a certain GPA. So you need to keep your grades up and keep working hard so that you can have time to participate in things like sports and drama and things like that. And our third main point is that you have to, like, if you are have a job, you will have to get certain things done before you can do other things. So, like, for an example, school is a priority for students, and that is our main job right now, and we should be focusing more on that rather than other things. And if we get our work done first, then we can have time to do other things like sports and drama. And so, to review our main points, it requires responsibility to keep your GPA up, and college scholarships can be taken away because you don't have a certain GPA, so it prepares you for college. And our third point is that you have to get certain things done before other things, so like school is our main job right now. And so I would like to thank my partner Shani, the opposition, and the judges, timekeeper, and audience for being here today. And please vote for government.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you. And time, please, timekeeper.
2:29.
2:29. Thank you very much. All right. Will you please put 1 minute on the clock for Rachel to prepare her arguments? Thank you. Oh, my stomach's growling already. Can I have that on camera? Are you? I have cookies sitting on my desk. I have not eaten them yet.
Oh darn, I'm not ready for that.
That's okay. It's an extra credit. Just do the best you can and say it with confidence. It will be okay. Can you stand in the middle for me? Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome our second speaker, the Leader of Opposition, Rachel, to give her debate today. Let's give her a round of applause. And let's remind both timekeeper and Ms. Speaker that it should not exceed 3 minutes, please. Mr. Timekeeper, are you ready? All right, whenever you're ready, ma'am, you may begin.
Hi, my name is Rachel Gresham. I am the Leader of Opposition. I would like to thank my partner Chelsea Dillon for being here, the government, audience, timekeeper, and judges. Today's topic is whether or not students should be required to keep a certain GPA to participate in extracurricular activities such as sports or drama. The government's first point was responsibility, and we as the opposition believe that responsibility can be shown in many different ways other than just keeping your grades up. Their second point was that it prepares you for college, and your scholarships may be taken away if you don't have a particular GPA, but it isn't required to go to college to have scholarships to play sports. You can go to a college without a scholarship and pay for it yourself, so you would not necessarily have to worry about your scholarships being taken away. Their third point was you must have your priorities, and school is our priority as students, but students don't kids our age don't necessarily have the priority of school, because some students may not want to stay in school, or they may want to do something different with their life, such as go on to play pro sports maybe, and they wouldn't have to necessarily keep a perfect GPA, just grades well enough to be able to play. In review, we believe that we as the opposition believe that responsibility can be shown in different ways other than just keeping up your grades, that you can attend college without scholarships, so that isn't necessarily a huge problem, and that priorities may be different than just grades. I would like to thank the audience, timekeeper, and judges for being here, my partner, and the government, and remember to vote for the opposition.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. And time, please, timekeeper?
2:05.
2:05, thank you very much. Will you please put 1 minute on the clock for Shani to prepare her arguments, please? Thank you. Didn't? Okay.
You don't have to have scholarships to play sports, do
You can always rewatch it.
No, I know.
I'm not. I'm laughing weird.
Got that on camera. Awesome. Okay. That is it's not soothing at all, huh? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to Shani with a round of applause, please. As the second speaker for the government. And we'd like to remind both Mr. Timekeeper and Ms. Speaker that the speech should not exceed more than 3 minutes. Mr. Timekeeper, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. And whenever you're ready, ma'am, you may begin.
Hi, my name is Shani. I am the member of the government. I would like to thank my partner Kerstin, the opposition, the judges, audience, and timekeeper for being here today. Today we are discussing whether or not students should have to maintain a certain GPA to be allowed to be involved in extracurricular activities such as sports or drama. And we as the government believe that they should have to maintain a certain GPA. The opposition's first point was that responsibility can be shown in other ways than just through maintaining a GPA. And we say that as students, one of the main things that students do with their lives is go to school, and therefore their grades should be their main priority, and it could be one of the main things they do to show responsibility. Their second point is that scholarships are not required to go to college, and we as a government say that not necessarily, but if someone were to fail classes in college, then they'd have to repeat those classes, which would cost them more money possibly to repeat these classes if they were to not have good grades in that class. Their third point was that not all students may have the priority of school. And we argue that by saying that that it is our main focus. It could be their main focus right now, and even if they may not want to focus on school and they want to do something such as the NFL right now, that is what they are doing, so they should focus on that. So I'd like to review and say that students, grades should be their main priority. If they go to college and fail a class, they may have to repeat, and grades is their main priority right now, even if it may not be in the future. And I'd like to thank my partner Kerstin, the opposition, judges, audience, and timekeeper, and vote for government.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. And time, please, timekeeper. 2:51. All right, thank you very much. Will you please put 1 minute on the clock for Chelsea to prepare her arguments? Thank you. Aww. If you need some, there's Germex right behind you. Does it feel any more relaxed being in the classroom versus on stage?
Yes. Yeah, and now that I don't get there to say, I mean, yeah. No.
Just out of curiosity. I had a feeling.
Let me debate for my seat.
No, that's good.
Really
You
well.
help your partner. Oh, so soothing. Okay, thank you very much. All righty, ladies, we welcome, and gentlemen, we welcome our second speaker for the opposition, Chelsea, to the stand. Let's give a round of applause. Woo. We'd like to remind both timekeeper and speaker that this speech should not exceed 3 minutes. Mr. Timekeeper, are you ready? Yes. All right, whenever you're ready, ma'am, you may begin.
Hi, my name is Chelsea Dillon. I'm a member of opposition, and the topic that we're discussing today is whether if students should or should not have certain GPA for extracurricular activities. I'd like to thank my partner for being here, my opposing team, time, audience, and judges. Our opposing team's first point was that grades should be a priority and the main thing to do with responsibility, to be able to maintain your grades and prove that you're responsible, to have a good GPA and be able to participate in extracurricular activities. We believe that we, as the opposition, believe that maybe that student's main priority is work, and because some students may have to help provide for their family, so they choose work over schooling. Government's second point was that it'll cost more money if you fail your classes, and that you'll have to retake the class. We believe that money doesn't really have a lot to do with your GPA and whether or not if you play a sport or not. Government's third point was that a student's main focus now is school, and that was kind of similar to their first point. So, but again, we as opposition believe that a student's main focus may be work over schooling. I'd like to review, and our first point was that work may be a student's main focus over schooling to help provide for their family. Our second point was that money and sports don't really go hand in hand. And our third point is that, again, a student's main focus may be work over schooling. I'd like to thank my partner, my opposing team, judge, timekeeper, and audience, and vote for opposition.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you. And time, please, timekeeper.
2:45.
2:45. Okay, thank you very much. Let's put 1 minute for Rachel to prepare her statements, please. And remember not to add anything new. You can add support, but not new.
One, bringing back my original points. We can still use our original points, right?
Just make sure you're fighting and supporting whatever it is that came before in that speech.
No, not really, but I still want.
Okay, that's fine, I think I'll do it.
Yeah, just pretty much say what it is.
I know what you're saying.
Well, I can't do it, isn't it? I'm fine
Oh, no, just say it when you get up there.
Okay, thank you very much. All righty, let's welcome the opposition for their final speech with Rachel. Let's give her a round of applause. And this time, though, timekeeper and Miss Speaker, we want to remind you this speech only lasts 2 minutes in length, all right? Just 2 minutes this time. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Timekeeper, you ready? Fabulous. Whenever you're ready, Miss Speaker, you may begin.
Hi, my name is Rachel Gresham. I am the leader of the opposition. I'd like to thank my partner Chelsea for being here, the government, the audience, timekeepers, and judges for being here. Today's topic is whether or not students should maintain a certain GPA to participate in extracurricular activities. Our first point was, or the opposing team's first point was that it shows responsibility, and we as the opposition believe that responsibility can be shown in many different ways, and that students may have other responsibilities other than just school, such as work, and they may have to provide and help with their family matters. The government's second point was that it prepares you for college, and your scholarships may be taken away if you don't maintain a certain GPA, and that if you might fail classes, you'll have to pay more money, and you might have to repeat the courses. And we as the opposition believe that this doesn't have much to do with whether or not they should play sports. Our third point is that responsibilities are shown in many different ways other than just keeping your grades up, that you may have other responsibilities, similar to the first point, that work may be a responsibility, and that grades aren't necessarily going to be your main priority, even if they technically should be. I would like to thank my partner for being here, the government, audience, timekeeper, and judges, and remember to vote for the opposition.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give her a round of applause. And time, please, timekeeper.
1:37.
1:37. Thank you very much. Will you please put 1 minute on the clock for Kerstin to prepare her arguments? Did you read it? Okay, thank you very much. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome the final speaker for debate in general, and we welcome her to give her speech with a round of applause, please. Yay! And we remind both Ms. Speaker and Mr. Timekeeper that this should be a speech not to exceed 2 minutes only this time, please. Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry, I do that. Mr. Timekeeper, are you ready? Yes, all right. Ms. Speaker, whenever you're ready, you may begin.
Hello, my name is Kerstin Martins, and I am the Prime Minister. I would like to thank my partner Shani, the member of government, and the opposition team. And I would also like to thank the judges, timekeeper, and audience for listening to this debate today. And this debate today is about whether students should have to or not have to have a certain GPA to participate in extracurricular activities. And we as the government say that they should have to have a certain GPA. So the opposition's first point was there were many different ways to show responsibility. And your main priority or another priority might be work, and sometimes you do work over school. And we as the government say that they could still have, people that work could still have time for school after they're finished with work or before work. And you need a good education to get a good job. And the second point for that the opposition stated was money and sports don't necessarily go hand in hand. And we as the government fight that as saying having a certain GPA will prepare you for college and you will have time to play sports. And the third point, the opposition stated that sometimes work goes over schooling, but we would like to say as the government that grades can help very much and school can help, and it helps prepare you for your job. And so I would like to thank my partner, the opposition, the judges, timekeeper, and audience, and please vote for government.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. And time, please, timekeeper.
150.
1:58. Let's give all of our speakers a round of applause. Yay! All right, thank you. That is the end of debate.